Good morning, dear teachers. Welcome to my forum presentation. My name is Zurisadai Recinos Rodriguez, and I'm so excited to be here with you to share my research work. Students' barriers during homeschooling in teaching and learning of English. As we know, schools have been closed about a year, causing that education immigrate to this digital world. Sadly, students have some barriers during this learning process because this modality is new for all those students. The contents are the context, the methodology, obstacles or barriers, and possible solutions. The virtual practicum was in middle school David Alfaro Siqueiros, located in Avenue Bordo de Suchiaca, El Sol, in Nezahualcóyotl. The practical group was second A. The teacher in charge is the teacher Agustin Perez Galindo. This group have 35 students. The methodology in this practicum, in this work, was a semi-structured interview proposed by Miguel Martinez. This interview allowed to the researcher to collect and analyze information, fundamental information. The obstacles or barriers are motivation, anxiety, distractors, cap in access to Wi-Fi connection, and the absenteeism. Motivation. Sometimes, as a teacher, we think that in this case, this virtual modality, motivation is not so important for students. But according to Carner, motivation has cognitive, affective, and cognitive characteristics. And it's very important to share motivation, positive experiences with the students. Anxiety. Anxiety refers to the subjective feeling of tension, apprehension, nervousness, and worry associated with stimulation of nervous system. This can be caused by taking exams, negative evaluations. This type of anxiety is called foreign language anxiety, proposed by Hurwitz. The distractions. Uh, these distractors are very common in a virtual context or on a virtual classroom because the students have mobile phone. They want to be constantly connect with their friends through call, messages, or social networks. Sadly, this occurs during the study time in this period of the class, of the virtual class. And it becomes an item highly distracting for the students. During this homeschooling, they have video games on their houses. So these video games are very addictive and they are very violent, these video games. And they incite to be violent with other people. In this case, video games can be a main distractor because now students have their cell phones and they can hear the class, but they can't put attention on the class, on the topic. Finally, social media. Most of the students in general dedicate half the hour of their day to consult their mobile phones, social networks, television, or other visual content. And it's very common because they are teenagers, so they want to have fun with their friends and with their phones. They want to be connected all the time in Facebook, Instagram, Gmail, Telegram, WhatsApp. But this is a very big problem for their knowledge. Gap in access to Wi-Fi connection. In this part, the distribution is very unequal according to the socioeconomic level of the student. 14 of the students, it's a low level, don't have a computer at home. It can be a big problem to take the virtual class. 44 of the students only have one computer, and they have to share with their family. Finally, we have absenteeism. This phenomenon is very complex. It involves multiple factors like economic factor, social, technological, and ideological factors that are important. These factors increase the chances that virtual abstinence will be practiced in our country, in middle schools country. So it's a fundamental factor, this phenomenon. We, as a teacher, we have to take account this part. Possible solutions. This possible solution that responds to the students and teachers about online classes are with the constructivist theory. These models of teaching are proposed by Murphy. the author select the main and principal characteristic that this process to fight with these barriers of the students is the communication, because communication is very fundamental in this modality, in this virtual modality. It's very important because the teacher and the student have a role in this process. The teacher plays a role of a guide, of monitor, of coach, of tutor, and the teacher have the responsibility to give all the necessary elements for the knowledge of the student. But learning of the students takes place in individual context and through social collaboration and experience. So it's very important to communicate this relationship to combat these barriers of the students. So the teacher plays a very important role too in this process. Here we are, my references. And thank you. That's all for my part. I hope this research was enough to know more about this situation. Schools needs and all this big process, because it's very hard for students, for teachers, for parents to be connect in this modality of homeschooling. It's really hard for everybody, but it's not impossible. So thank you to be here with me.